Yo, what is good, YouTube? Today, we have a special video. Y'all favorite videos. People love these videos. Y'all eat them up. And today we are going to be making a new tier list for Street Fighter V. Oro and Akira, they are actually released this time, so we can actually place them in the correct tier. Do not forget to like, comment, subscribe, and turn the post notification bell on. And let's get into rating some characters. Right off the back, we should just get the pointless characters out the way. The characters that we know are trash, that we love though, but we want them to be better, but they are honestly trash. Those characters will be Lucia. Sadly, I love her. She does do a lot of damage. That's the only plus side, and she's good in the corner, but it's so hard to get your opponents there with, the lack of neutral that this character has. So they need to give my girl some buffs, bro. I don't even need to explain to you why he trash. Y'all know why he trash. He's been trash for so long that it's beyond explaining now. Like, he just trash. You don't explain it no more. I think before we had Zangief a bit higher on the tier list, but now honestly Zangief is trash with the nerfs they gave to the ESSPD for no reason. And I think they made his stand heavy punch even more whiff punishable. If you couldn't whiff punish Zangief stand fierce since season 1, you were a bot. Coming from me, you should be whiff punishing that button if you take this game somewhat seriously and you're not a new player. Another character that might surprise people, honestly, I think Nakali is garbage. He's actually trash now, especially playing on PC. It's so much easier to react to Sosmos with jumps. Panda Fighting Games has new updates every other day, including collabs and other fun stuff in general. So don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and turn your post notification bell on for their videos and the channel. Blanca is also a pointless character. Blanca is literally just gimmicks. That's not even hard gimmicks to react to. That's the problem with Blanca. People do rainbow balls out the corner and stuff. You honestly can't do that. You can just press early buttons to stop that. The V trigger 2 is the best thing about Blanca, but I feel like it's not enough. I think that's pretty much all the pointless characters. And then after that, I think Gill, his buttons are just too bad on block. He just don't have enough until they give him like a jab, counter hit jab combo that's not just jab. The character's going to stay trash, honestly. Rose is honestly really bad. She's a really fun character, which sucks because she's really fun, and I feel like her whole game plan is kind of unique. Like, she's a zoner, but like, it's very hard to zone with her, like the way Capcom designed her to be played. It's hard to set the game up, so that's why I think she is trash, because her strategy is way too hard to execute on literally 90% of the cast. It just don't really work on. I think Ed is not very good. Like, he gets a lot of buffs, but no buffs that really help his overall game plan, which is like, I don't really think his game plan is like really solid. It's just kind of annoying, but it's just not that annoying because his V triggers aren't very good. I think Sakura, if I had to choose, I think this is an A tier character. She's not S tier, but she is really good in the right hands. When she has you in the corner, she has like some of the best corner pressure because her throw leaves you so close. So when you get thrown by Sakura, you just so scared pretty much. There's gonna be a lot of B characters, I feel like. I think Ryu is B tier. He isn't broken, but they did buff him a lot. He has 2 really good V triggers. He can actually play offense because he does have the hit confirm. So I think this character is a B tier character now. Not trash anymore. Guile is actually B tier. I don't think Guile is amazing this season, but he's definitely not trash. All his buttons now are so easy to whiff punish, and the Sobot kick being -4 on block means that Guile players now actually has to space it. Can definitely still win a tournament, because I don't think Guile has a lot of bad matchups even now. His overall strategy, I feel like, has been nerfed a bit. So, but yeah, I think Ibuki is actually not that bad. Even though everyone goes away from her, Sean still plays her, and honestly, Sean would not play a trash character, If you're a mix-up character, V-Shift honestly will hurt you a lot. Armika is, I think she's not that good, but the fact that she still can rob you, honestly, very fast. She has ways around V-Shift and stuff, so her V-triggers are still very good. Like, her biggest problem is that she doesn't have great neutral. Kage is B tier. I think, Kage is a pretty decent character. People don't really play him much, but he does do a lot of damage. He gets buffed every season with new combos and new damage. His buttons aren't the best to compete with the characters, so he kind of has to take some risks to get in neutral, but when he's in, he's very scary. So, but I think Colleen is B tier because they did nerf her V-Trigger a lot, so it is, like, her tough matchups got even harder now, which is fireball characters, and there's a lot of characters with fireballs in the game. They did nerf Abigail a lot. The EX1 punch is now like minus 20 something, so you get dash punish. You shouldn't even really be whiffing buttons with Abigail in the first place because they go so far, but it is a nerf, and it did hurt the character. Those things does hurt the character a lot, in my opinion. So, yeah, I think this character is now definitely in the B tier area. I think Akira is probably a B tier character. Her neutral isn't that great, and it's just that her heavy buttons are so negative. She does struggle a bit against fireball characters when she can't charge her V skill 1-up. So that kind of make it a bit harder for her, in my opinion. Yeah, so I think that's why Akira isn't like A or S tier, because I think she will have a lot of bad matchups. Right now, Oro is actually probably B tier also. I thought initially Oro was not very good, but since they got that fast fall in the game right now, as long as that's in the game, I think Oro is not going to be that bad. Before, I think it's because his normals were stubby. Honda, you know, is probably the most brain dead character in the game. We all know that. The hard zoning characters kind of bodies Honda, and characters with parries, they kind of smoke Honda really bad. He has amazing damage. He gets Oki off most things, great anti-airs. You know, Honda just has a lot of good tools in general that makes the character just really good, and I think that's why Honda's B tier. Oh, I missed Sagat. Sagat is definitely a C tier character, you know. The character's not trash, but Sagat doesn't really get any Oki off of anything. It makes the character quite hard to get wins with, because this game is honestly, it's a lot about offense, and Sagat kind of has to play perfect. It's just a zoning character. When you zone and someone just keep jumping, they kind of eventually might land a jumping, and then you might not really play again. So the character needs some more tools. Manat, I think, is B tier. Honestly, they nerfed the V-Trigger, made it 3 bars, right? Manat kind of hasn't gotten any buffs since then. She's just been floating around B tier. But her overall strategy is kind of still the same, and it's still really, really good. It's just that I think people didn't like that they nerfed the V-Trigger to 3 bars, honestly. So they just kind of left the character. Dan, I think Dan is also a B tier character. Honestly, V-Skill 2 with Dan is just insane. It breaks the laws of the game. It's hard to know when it's your turn to press a button, pretty much, because the pressure is it happens so fast, and it's just like so unique and weird. His fireball isn't very good, his damage isn't very good, and it's hard to get stunned with Dan, and I think those things kind of hurt him. I think Balrog is B tier. A lot of people nowadays are saying Balrog is A and S tier, but I honestly think it's because it's Japan. I guess Japan makes sense because Bulgaria beats them a lot. All the buffs that Balrog got, none of them really helps his bad matchups. You know, it just kind of make his good matchups really good now. I think Seth has went down to B tier, but I think before the patch with the V-Trigger, Seth might have been C tier, but the V-Trigger 2 buff makes the V-Trigger 2 so good that it kind of bumps Seth up a tier, because you kind of have to take the mix-up, and every mix-up is at least like 50 to 60% of your health into a guess. So, you know, the only reason Jury honestly isn't A or S is because she has to work mad hard to get damage. She has to do stores, and even when she gets the stores, the damage isn't guaranteed. But honestly, the character has all the neutral options or neutral tools. I think Vega is a really good character. Vega's only problem is that the claw does get knocked off if you take a certain amount of hits or block hits. Even on block, it goes away. So I think that's kind of dumb. Vega's neutral is just so good with the claw on, and it just dips down so low, especially since his anti-airs aren't very good. I think Falk is also B tier this season. There's just like not enough Falk players, or like, you know, really good Falk players. I think they play the character wrong, honestly. Her zoning is so good, and she does so much damage. Like, you can rush people down, but you know, you don't have to be the enforcer of the rush down, you know what I'm saying? I also think Fang is B tier. Fang is actually not as bad as people say. Fang has a lot of good matchups, honestly. The only bad thing really about Fang is the no reversal and no 3-frame, so Fang does get mauled pretty often. Next, no, I think Laura, honestly. I think Laura is also B tier. I mean, she's like the best B tier character though, so like I want to put her like there. Actually, maybe a B plus category is actually needed to be made. The fact that she can hit confirm pretty much all her medium buttons kinda make her neutral, really good in my opinion. And you know, her V trigger, you don't really need to talk about it. Also want to put Cody here because I don't really think Cody is A tier, but he is amazing. Cody can't really fight fireball characters really well because his fireball isn't that good, and you know, he has to kind of jump in. But everything else Cody had is just so good that like it's just too hard to not put Cody in B+. But people say G is trash. I don't agree with G as being trash because G literally still robs you blind. Like the V trigger might have gotten nerfed, but if you're level 2 with the V trigger, it still lasts maybe even longer than before. They did nerf the fireball a bit, but his fireball honestly was too good before. Still gets great damage off of anti-airs. Actually got a buff when you're level 2. You get the new EX combos that make him do even more damage. So I just think that this character is still definitely a B+. And I think Akuma is probably B+ also. The V skill, honestly, like the V skill turn or a corner swap or swap, whatever it's called, you know, the side switch, that actually hurt the character so much. I think Chun Li is an A tier character. Her neutral is busted. The fact that you can still confirm to heavy lays even though you don't get Oki is still really good because you just go back to neutral. Honestly, you don't need the Oki. The Oki was just a gift. I think Alex would be next. This character has just gotten buffed a lot. Has amazing neutral, good anti-airs now. Like all the things that Alex was actually bad for kind of got fixed now. Damn, Ken has come a long way from actually being so trash, but now I think, especially on PC, Ken is an amazing character. The heavy punch DP buff honestly just changed so many of Ken matchups. So many matchups that were terrible and unwinnable, they're now either in his favor or 5-5. And, you know, Ken's V-Trigger 1 is just honestly one of the best in the game already. Even before, that was like the only thing that was saving Ken from being like one of the worst characters in the game was that Ken can rob you so quickly. The character's just been here forever, right? Doesn't really get nerfs. Got a few buffs now. Got like the low forward EX Flame. I say it in every tier list pretty much. If you want to know about Bison, you just go back on one of those videos and you can see it. The only downside of Bison is that Bison anti-airs aren't the greatest, but when you do get like a ear-to-ear, it does mad damage. So like, it's a good trade-off to be fair. And I think the last character I'm putting in A tier, I might call it a downplay, is Karen. Karen, honestly, I don't think is S tier because she has so many bad matchups. The reason she is still A tier, even with all the bad matchups, is because her game plan is so solid. She has such a solid core game plan. You know, she just has good neutral pretty much. Her neutral is amazing and she does mad damage. So every hit does so much damage and it is scary to get hit with the character, and that's why I don't think she is lower than A. Rashid, y'all know about this character. I don't need to really explain much. He just does everything, you know. Where everyone else struggles in this game, Rashid kind of doesn't. Yeah, the character is just broken, honestly. It's just too much to talk about. With V-Shift, I honestly just feel like this character just is one of the best characters in the game. Honestly, I've always thought Dawson was broken. Y'all know this. I've always thought this character was like a top 5, top 10 character, but people would say he's not because he get mauled. But now with V-Shift, Dawson players kind of have no excuse. You have a defensive option. Honestly, Dawson doesn't really have any weakness anymore. Poison, this character is just, this is one of very few characters like Dawson who dictates the whole match. Like from start to finish, she is making you play her game. A lot of 7-3 matchups in my opinion. Maybe the most in the entire game. Cami, you know, this character is just strong. Just her pressure, probably the best jump in the game. The only flaw is maybe her V reversal is punishable. So she can't V reversal like other characters can freely because it does punish. But on the flip side, she does get out the corner for free if you do buttons that are V reversible. And when Cami puts you in the corner, it's kind of hard to get out. So Urian, don't really gotta say much. His V trigger is just broken. As long as he got Aegis Reflector, he's staying in the S tier, bro. That's all I gotta say about that character. And Zeku is probably one of the most slept on characters still in this game. It's because Zeku players are like somehow it's because the only Zeku player who talks on Twitter is Sanford. And Sanford just complains about how bad the character is. So I think people believe that this character is bad. He has 2 forms, bro. You can zone them out and then when you go into Young Zeku, you can fight the rushdown characters. Young Zeku has the best throws in the game. The character is just really good. It's just, maybe he's a bit technical, so it's a little harder because you do got to learn 2 forms. You know, this, in my opinion, is the tier list to look at. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. I had a fun time making this tier list. I think it's accurate. Let me know what y'all think, and I will see you in the next video.